y'all been learning a little bit about the ancient Greek civilization?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about that. Does anyone remember what a civilization is? Yes?
It's usually a big city or like a big house of its own.
Anyone has anything to add to that?
Or like something different than others.
A civilization is a group of people that live together, kind of like a community. So you had it kind of right. You had some points there. New Iberia is our city and our town, so that's kind of like a civilization, something you can compare it to. Does anyone remember what a city-state is? Did y'all learn about that? That is an independent city and the surrounding areas. So it kind of relates to the civilization. Okay, y'all can look up here on the board. Like the Mesopotamians, Egyptians, and people of other civilizations, the ancient Greeks believed in beings that were called gods and goddesses. Gods are male beings, boys and men, and then the goddesses are females. The Greeks believed that the most powerful of the gods and goddesses lived in a palace on the very top of Mount Olympus. So you see the big mountain in the background?
Yes, ma'am.
They believed the gods and goddesses all lived at the top of that mountain. Y'all remember what it's called? Mount
Olympus.
Olympus. Yeah, very good. The Greeks believed that a king named Zeus and a queen named Hera ruled the gods and goddesses. So they were like the king and queen of all the gods and goddesses. They were very, very important. And that's King Zeus and Queen Hera. Each of the gods, had a different power or skill. And that explains how something came to be or something happened in nature. These gods and goddesses were also believed to be immortal. Does anyone know what that means?
Not immortal.
Immortal means that they lived forever. They never died. So the gods and goddesses were believed to be immortal. So does anyone have any predictions? Can y'all guess what some of the gods and goddesses' powers will be?
It might be to shoot arrows like with fire.
Maybe. And remember we said that their powers had something to do with nature and how stuff happened in nature.
Be strong.
So one of them might be really strong. Something with water, you think? Because that has to do with nature.
They control the sun or the sun or the moon.
So one of them might control the sun and the moon. Very good. So y'all remember these predictions that y'all have in your mind that y'all are making? And we're going to see if they really do have some of those powers. You have one more?
Wind.
Wind. One might control the wind. Very good. All right, we're going to listen to this story. I'm going to read it to you, and we're going to look through some pictures, and I'll stop, and I'll have some questions for y'all along the way. And we're going to find out if your predictions are correct. And we're going to learn more about all the gods and goddesses. And remember that the ancient Greeks believed they lived on Mount Olympus. You might be able to call it God Mountain. I mean, they believed all the gods lived there. So some people might have referred to it as the God Mountain.
They live on a God mountain and the God is up the sky and they control they have the power to build a house
We're gonna find out what all their powers were whenever we read the story too. So we'll learn more about them. So what do y'all see in this picture? Yes, probably not angels, it's probably gods and goddesses, huh? That's what I thought. Anybody else can tell me something specific y'all see? Water?
I could see some chairs.
Chairs. And those chairs are called thrones. And that's what the gods and goddesses sit on. And how many do y'all see?
11.
Yeah, there's 12. There's 12. So what do y'all think that means since there's 12 chairs?
Each of them sit there because they have different powers. The ones that have lightning, they sit in the lightning chair.
Each of who?
Like each of the gods.
Each of the gods, maybe? Okay, let's see. Let's read and find out. The day began delightfully, of course. And delightfully means it began very well, with great delight. Every day began delightfully on Mount Olympus, for it was the home of the gods. Because these gods called Mount Olympus their home, they were called the Olympian gods. Sometimes they enjoyed roaming on earth, which is where the gods could be found at this moment, all except Hermes and Apollo. So do y'all think that might be who's in the picture right here? Hermes and Apollo, maybe. Hermes, messenger of the gods, and son of Zeus, appeared in an instant at the side of his brother Apollo. So what were those two gods? They were what? What did I say? It was his what?
His brother.
His brother. So they're brothers. And their father is Zeus, which we said is the king of all the gods. Hermes was wearing his famous winged sandals and winged helmet, and he carried a small wooden stick or baton with wings on either side. All of these extra wings gave Hermes even greater speed than he already possessed. Because he was constantly flitting here and there, carrying news among the gods and leading lost travelers back in the right direction, Hermes needed all the speed he could get. When he was moving his fastest, it always seemed as if, whoosh, he just appeared out of nowhere. So which one do y'all think is Hermes? Y'all can tell me.
The one in the white
one in the
cloth.
white-
The one in the white cloth.
And why do y'all think that's Hermes?
Because he has
he's
flying
flying.
wings on
He
his
has the
baton
stick.
and little wings.
He has the baton and he has wings, so he can fly, from what it looks like. And y'all remember what he was? The messenger? Do y'all know what that means? Or y'all want to guess what that means?
It means that he goes say stuff or people want them to tell
Very good. He goes and he tells people, certain people, what somebody else wants to tell him. He gets a message to people, kind of like the mailman, but he goes tell them in person. Apollo, the god of music and poetry, was startled when Hermes suddenly appeared, even though he should have been used to it by now. Do you have to pop up like that? He protested. I was just composing the most wonderful song on my harp, and you have made me forget where I was in the melody. Do y'all know what he means by composing?
showing up unexpected.
He was composing a melody with his harp. And he's the god of music and poetry. So composing means that he was making music or writing music. And then whenever his brother came to scare him, he made him forget where he was in the melody. So sorry, Hermes exclaimed, although he was secretly pleased, for he was a bit of a trickster. Hermes went on, but soon you will have more of an audience, for our father Zeus has summoned us all here to the great hall at once. What does that mean, he summoned them all there? Yes, he wants them all to go there to the great hall, their father Zeus. So he was bringing that message to his brother, telling him that he needed him to go to the hall. Glancing around nervously, he added quietly, and you know how he can get when he is kept waiting. How does he probably get? Y'all can tell me.
Angry.
That means he probably gets kind of angry when they make him wait.
Like, step his feet too hard.
Maybe so. Hermes looked at the harp he had given to Apollo long ago, made from the shell of a large tortoise, with strings stretched across it. Still, I can stay for a moment if you would be kind enough to play whatever you were working on. He sat down on a thick cushion on the floor. Apollo smiled, and because he was also the god of light, his smile could truly light up a room. I would be delighted, he said, and his fingers ran so swiftly. Y'all think he's happy to play music or sad?
Happy.
Happy. Delighted means happy. He's happy to play the music for his brother. Any questions?
Because maybe Noah asked him to play.
Yeah. Maybe he's excited to finally play his music. As always, the song was so beautiful that anyone listening would think it must be the best song that could ever be played. That is, until Apollo played the next one. Hermes actually sat unmoving, which was quite rare for him. And at the end of the song, he sighed. Then he was gone, his parting thank you hanging in the air. Apollo thought, that boy must learn how to slow down. So Hermes is off again. Let's see where he's going next. Hermes had already left behind the high, cloud-covered mountain, and he was settling down into a lush green forest below. Here, Hermes was especially alert, for he was searching for the greatest of hunters, or rather, hunteresses. His sister, the goddess Artemis, if anything could travel as quickly as Hermes, it would be one of Artemis's arrows, for she was the goddess of hunting, wilderness, and animals. I think somebody had made a prediction that they might have something with arrows, so that's kind of right, huh? Artemis is the goddess of hunting, wilderness, and arrows. Hermes could hear the crashing and crackling of branches as something large broke through the trees nearby. What do y'all think it is?
A deer.
A deer probably, huh? Suddenly, a great antlered stag burst from the bushes not 5 feet from Hermes, panic in its eyes as it saw him. Why do you think the big deer was scared when it saw him?
Because he thought it was going to kill him.
Probably, huh? Because he's used to people hunting him, so he might have thought he was going to kill him. Turning, the stag disappeared from the little clearing as suddenly as it had arrived. Hermes had only enough time to think, how graceful. Two huge hounds leaped from the bushes, ready to follow the stag. Hermes simply held up his wooden baton, and the two dogs stopped at once, lying down before him panting. And who do y'all think this is in the picture?
His sister.
Probably his sister. And what is she a goddess of?
Arrows.
Hunting and wilderness, yep. A moment later, their mistress, Artemis, appeared. Disappointment showed on the goddess's face at losing the deer she was hunting. At such moments, Artemis could be cruel, but when she saw Hermes, she smiled, for she was very fond of him. Does that mean she liked him or didn't like him? She liked him. She smiled. She was very fond of him. I wondered why the hounds had stopped, she said. I'm afraid that you will have to stop also, Hermes replied. Our father Zeus has summoned us to come to Mount Olympus as quickly as possible. And what does summoned mean again? Called them to go. Yep. At once, Artemis placed the arrow she had been holding into the quiver she wore over her shoulder. So the thing on her shoulder is called a quiver. That's what she puts all her arrows in. I will leave right away, she said. But as Hermes flew off again, he saw her looking longingly at the bushes where the deer had disappeared. So she was still upset she had missed that deer. Now where has he gone? And somebody had said something about water earlier, so we might hear something about that now. A minute later, the messenger god hovered in midair high above the sea that surrounded Greece, and which held hundreds of islands of all sizes. With eyes as sharp as one of Artemis's arrows, Hermes shot through the ocean waves, weaving among a dozen dancing dolphins. He came to rest next to the massive shoulders of his uncle Poseidon, the god of the seas and of all that crosses the seas. So his uncle is the god of the seas and everything in the seas. So all the animals and everything else.
I could say some fish and the fishes. So one fish is jumping in the air. Let's say two fishes jumping in the air and three fishes in the water.
Yep, very good. Poseidon's long white beard moved like sea foam in the water as he turned and spoke. Hermes, you are welcome here. He boomed out in a mighty voice. And Hermes remembered that Poseidon, brother of Zeus, could make the earth shake, for he was also the god of earthquakes. So he was the god of all the water and everything and earthquakes, so he could make earthquakes happen. And that's Poseidon right there, his long white beard. Pointing his great trident, a three-pointed pitchfork, which he sometimes used to stir up the waves of the sea god said to Hermes, "Watch with me." So the two gods watched as the dolphins swam in smooth, wide-figured apes, and massive whales rose up from the depths to swim through the loops of the dolphin's design. When the show was over, 100 octopi jetted in front of the whales and dolphins, shooting black ink from their bellies as a sort of closing theater curtain to end the performance. Y'all know what octopi are? Anybody else?
When it's red on you, it makes like all kind of stuff on you.
Do y'all know what an octopus is? Octopi just means there's more of them, not just one. Poseidon roared.
Ms. Burgon, send me Iman Webb, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Poseidon roared with laughter at this surprise ending. Then turning to Hermes, he asked, "What brings you here, nephew?" Hermes replied, "Zeus asks you to come with all speed to Mount Olympus." "I shall go at once," he said. But before he set out to see his brother, Poseidon took the time to thank the dolphins, whales, and octopi for their performance. When he finished, Hermes was already gone. "It is wonderful how he does that," Poseidon thought. And there's Hermes again. He's gone already. He's probably going to find somebody else, right? That he has to give a message to? Maybe a cousin, yeah. In the sky, high above him, Hermes was already seeking out another of the gods. Suddenly, a lightning bolt split the air only 10 feet from the messenger god. This was followed by a deafening crash of thunder. Zeus was getting impatient. And Zeus is his what?
Brother.
His father, yep. Zeus is his dad. Hermes called upward, "I'm moving as quickly as I can, my lord." The messenger of the gods hurried on his way. So his dad must be getting angry, right?
Yeah, because
He's not there.
Yep, he's taking too long, probably.
he's probably stuffing his head, putting his hands on his hip.
You think he's putting his hands on his hips and stomping his feet? All right, guys, let's answer a few questions, okay, about the story. Raise your hand if you think you know the answer. First of all, was anybody's predictions correct? Anything y'all thought about the gods and their powers were right? You had said what? Something about water. Yep, and we had water. You were thinking that too. That's good. Some of y'all probably had the same ideas too. What did you think? Anything that was correct?
I thought that his uncle was the thunder god and like because it's almost at his ankle. Arrow.
You thought something about arrows too, and his sister was the goddess of hunting. Okay. Where did the ancient Greeks believe that the gods lived? Does anyone remember that? Where did they think that all the gods lived? Probably in a castle, but where? Mount Olympus, yes, on the highest mountain. That's where they think all the gods and goddesses live. Did the ancient Greeks worship one god or many gods and goddesses? Y'all can tell me. Many, yeah. We already met a bunch of them in the story. So not just one, they had a bunch of different gods and goddesses. Can y'all name some of the ones you heard in the story? Some of the gods and goddesses? Wilderness, y'all remember any of their names? The uncle? The uncle's name was Poseidon. And then do y'all remember him? The one that's been going everywhere in the story? He was the messenger. His name was Hermes. You remember one? Zeus was the king of all the gods. And he was a very important one. That's one you should remember. Apollo, very good. That's Hermes' brother, Zeus' other son. You remember another one? The queen, Hera. Yeah, very good. And we just answered the next question, which is who is the king of all the gods?
Zeus.
Very good. And who did he visit first? Hermes. Who did Hermes visit first? Y'all can tell me. Apollo, his brother. Very good. And what was his sister the goddess of? uncle?
Poseidon.
Poseidon. Very good. Y'all remembering some of the names. All right, guys. We're gonna try to recall what happened in the story. We just went over some of the events that happened. Can y'all tell me in order some of the main points of the story? Not the small details, but the big things that happened. Y'all think about it, and then turn to y'all partners and tell y'all partners what y'all think one of the first big things that happened was. And I'm gonna put the pictures up that went with the story. It might give y'all some better ideas. All right, guys. Does anyone remember one of the first big things that happened in the story? Anybody else? What do you think? What was one of the first things that happened? The important thing.
The funny thing is, the two brothers' father told them to tell everybody to come in the hallway because Harvey be having a meeting.
Okay, so you think they might be having a meeting? That's why they are getting summoned? That is right, though. Zeus told Hermes to go gather everybody because he is summoning them. He's calling them to all come to him for something. We don't know why yet, but she said maybe they're having a meeting. And first, who did he go to?
His brother.
His brother, yeah. So that's one important thing that happened. Zeus called everybody to come see him, and he's sending Hermes out. He goes to his brother first. And did his brother say he was going to go meet him?
No.
Yes,
Yes,
he was
ma'am.
going to go. All right. One of the next things that happened. Apollo. He was playing some music. His brother, this isn't really a very important detail, but it's something that we can mention. They have a picture about it, so it's kind of important. His brother played him a song. And did Hermes stay and listen to the song? Yes.
But he stayed for he said a different song, but after the song was over, he just boom, he went away.
He went away. He's very, very quick.
He in a hurry.
Yes, he is in a hurry.
I know why he's in a hurry. Look at the ghost though. I know why he was going in a hurry. Because
All right, think about what happened next. Just think about it and discuss it with your partner. All right, guys. One of the next main events in the story. And I want y'all, whenever y'all telling me about it, use a word like next, then, first, last, one of those words, okay? Anybody at that back table? One of y'all know something that happened next, a main event?
was finished yet, went into the woods and he had heard something coming through the trees, and then he had said his sister is
So when you say he, who are you talking about?
Apollo.
Hermes. Hermes. He left Apollo. Apollo was the music player, and Hermes is the messenger. So he went to the forest. Very good. And he was looking for his sister.
And he had said she was hunting and
You want to add to that? He heard a deer, which was called a stag, and the two dogs came. He finally met up with his sister, right? And she was happy to see him. And what did he tell her? Y'all can tell me. His father summoned him.
to tell everybody to come.
He summoned all of them to come. He asked them all to come meet him.
All the guys.
All the gods and goddesses. Yep.
He didn't really know.
Because his sister is not a god. What is she?
Well, there and
A goddess. Goddess means a female or a girl god. Next, he went meet up with his uncle who? Poseidon. Poseidon was the god of the water. Very good. And earthquakes, yes.
And
Once he leaves his uncle, does anybody remember what happened? His father's mad, and why is his father mad?
because he never came, he was came back, he was taking too long, so he got mad.
He's taken too long, we think. His father never really said why he was mad, but we think it's because he's taken too long, and his father is very impatient, we said. He doesn't like to wait.
He do wait, but he had to wait too.
He has to wait too long.
He taking forever, and everything is up somewhere, he would tell everybody to go, he just poop up and go to a different people, and then the people say, the guy said, I'm going, then he poop off, the guy's not going, he's taking so forever to tell all the guys to go see him.
Alright, guys. Tomorrow, the story's not over yet. It stops whenever his father Zeus made the lightning come down by him. Tomorrow, we're going to finish the story and see what happens. And does anybody have any predictions as to why they're being summoned? Somebody already said they might have a meeting. Why else do you think the king, Zeus, might be calling everybody to come meet with him?
They might have something really bad gonna happen.
Something bad might be going on? Spectate.
They might have something important to do.
Something important? What kind of important things could they have?
He might call meeting to tell them that there might be a murderer in the town.
Something really bad could be going on, yeah. Okay, tomorrow we're going to read the rest and we're going to see if anybody's predictions are right. We're going to see why Zeus is calling everybody.